How's it going, my fellas? Welcome back, it's Nick here. And just to avoid any confusion, as you've seen earlier this week, I've been re-uploading the most iconic world record videos to the channel, as well as the tutorial on N64 Bowser's Castle. And now, as of today and tomorrow, I'm re-uploading October, November, December 2018, as well as January and February 2019 world record progression videos to the channel, just to avoid any confusion. And the newest March 2019 recap is coming this Saturday at April 6th. So if you want to see that, don't miss it. Click the subscribe button, support the channel, and just rewatch the videos, get pumped for the March video, and we'll take it from there. Thank you very much, and enjoy. Welcome back, everyone. NMeade here. Today, we'll be reviewing all of the world records set in February 2019. In total, there were improvements on 6 unique tracks, 11 records in total. It's gonna be a fun time. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. As always, if you do enjoy time trials, I have several useful links and resources in the description below if you like time trials and everything like that. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. We're going to start off this month by reviewing all of the world record improvements done on Mario Circuit Glitch. Of the 11 records that were beaten this month, 6 of them were done on Mario Circuit Glitch. So let's get started. Wasting no time at all, Bryce continues to improve his own records like a madman. He actually improved his former world record by over 1 second with a time of 51.548 on February 7th. And only a day later after that, he improved by a further almost 0.3 to a 51.287 on February 8th. Then 12 days later, on February 20th, Bryce improved another time by a little bit over 0.1 this time, with a time of 51.149. And on the same day, yes, he set 2 world records on the same day. Very nice, Bryce. He got the first sub 51 on the Mario Circuit Glitch category with a time of 58.74, also on February 20th. Now, out of the woodwork, 5 days later, on February 25th, Logan actually beat Bryce on Mario Circuit Glitch by a little bit over 0.1 with a time of 57.55 on February 25th. And just 1 day later, Bryce would come back and beat Logan by close to 0.4 with a time of 52.83 on February 26th. In just a month and a half, from January 12th until the end of February, the total amount of time cut from this world record has been over 3 seconds, which is quite impressive. This has primarily been achieved through not using the no-stop glitch on laps 2 and 3 any longer currently. Instead, players are opting to do the left tree clip all 3 laps. Now, I've gathered 2 of the most critical points currently between at least both Bryce and Logan right now in terms of where more time can be saved. First, it looks like a lot of time can actually be saved or lost depending on how you're descending from the mountain. I'm going to slow it down right here. You can see in these 2 comparisons here, either you can land on top of the hill or a little brick portion of the upper part of the tunnel. And you can either just stay there and just lose a lot of time, or you can get almost like a very big bounce and fly over down to the lower portion of the track almost immediately. And I think getting that optimal bounce is going to be saving a heck of a lot of time. And the other major point here, it looks like the approach into the glitches on laps 2 and 3. Both Bryce and Logan have slightly different strategies in terms of getting into the grass and making their alignments for the clips on laps 2 and 3. And when I was watching both of these players' runs, it looks like Bryce travels a little bit further in the grass, which might be losing him a bit of time. I think Logan's strategy overall is a little bit faster than what Bryce is currently doing. Overall, I think it's been very exciting to see something new on a glitch category, especially on Mario Circuit Glitch, where the oldest world record, which was a 53.5, stood for a very, very long time. I wouldn't be surprised if this track eventually goes to a 48 or even a 47 at some point. Congrats both of you on your improvements, and good luck on further improvements as well. So the past couple of months, Logan has been improving very, very intently on the DK Mountain glitch category. And Logan has now managed to have the world record in both the no glitch and the glitch categories, respectively. On February 10th, Logan beat the previous world record set by a British player, Liam, by almost 0.1, with a time of 2:05.479. It's funny how I was also mentioning that Logan got second worldwide in this category last month in last month's video. Through this comparison here, Logan had a pretty steady lead into lap 3 versus Liam, but Logan lost a fair amount of time in the beginning of the lap. Overall, the critical points in this run for this category is going to be the beginning first mini turbo, believe it or not. That is deceptively very, very hard. Getting the long wheelie from the point of the first turn after the mountain to where you're almost transitioning to the grass. Getting these insanely very low clips on the actual shroomless cut at the end. And trying to minimize these bounces overall with these mushrooms all 3 laps. I definitely feel a 204 in this category is going to happen with time, as there's definitely more room for improvement from these players here. Congrats on your improvement, Logan. This month we also saw the current longest standing world record beaten by only 1 millisecond. We're heading to GCM Mario Circuit, where British player Luke beat the previous world record by Norwegian player Fox by 1 millisecond with a time of 1:30.797 on February 11th. Fox's world record would stand for 1,416 days, which was originally set on March 28th of 2015. The only other world record that still currently stands, that's from 2015, is Leaf on Ghost Valley 2 Glitch. Now, personally speaking, I can speak a lot to this track because I myself had the world record here a couple of times back in my day. For the time period it was set, Fox's run was insanely consistent that had primarily what we call 9 out of 9, where it had 3 chain wheelies and had 3 fairly decent shroom spots for the most part, and 3 for 3 double tricks. Now, getting airtime into the shroom, getting good airtime out of the shroom as well, are both one of the most luckiest parts of this track. There is no real consistent way to get consistently good airtime into the shroom or optimal air out of the shroom. If you stick on the way out of the shroom, you're losing at minimum 0.1 compared to the fastest. And as far as this good double check at the end of every single lap, per TASer Zach aka Lucas, this is a sub-frame timing, which basically equates to being very, very hard. Now, Luke in his run primarily lost most of his time through getting a stick shroom exit on lap 2 and also having a fairly messy first part of lap 3. Luke has so much more in the tank on this track, with recently hitting a low 30.1 on lap 1, the first 0.1 first lap that's ever been hit, and it was a low 0.1 lap 1 to boot. At least currently he's not playing this track, and I really don't blame him. At high world record level like this, I can definitely speak to how just mentally draining it can be to play this track. And that is definitely one of the more bigger reasons why Fox's time stood as long as it did, which takes nothing away from how strong his run was for its time. But just to explain the absolute just frustrating madness that can be playing this track at a high level, which I can definitely speak to. Congrats on your improvement, Luke. Next, we had quite the improvement on Grumble Volcano on the glitch category. For the first time in 10 years and 1 day, we had a new world record holder that was other than the Canadian player Alex or Japanese player Nayaki. Hopefully I'm pronouncing the name right. I apologize if I'm butchering the pronunciation. On February 15th, American player Joshua beat the former world record by Alex by close to 0.1 with a time of 18.474. Only this was done with the inside drifting bike. From February 14th, 2009 to February 15th of 2019, Alex and Nayaki were the only 2 people who were trading hands on this track in this category for over 10 years. And using the outside drift bike, the nano bike or the bit bike, was the optimal strategy for 10 years. It is still quite perplexing to see how this is actually pulled off with the inside drifting bike like the Quacker. It seems like you're taking advantage of spin drifts and optimizing how long you could be drifting and building up speed around the rock. And just watching this run over and over again as I have, it is quite bizarre in the most amazing way. And it's been really cool to see the changes in the glitch categories on certain tracks throughout the past couple of months. Those tracks come to mind are definitely Maple Treeway, Mushroom Gorge, and Mario Circuit. It's going to be interesting to see what the further improvements on this track is going to be now. If Alex and Nayaki were to be trying to beat the record back, will they still be opting to use the bit bike, or will they be trying to use a new strategy with the Quacker? Who knows what it's going to be at this point. But I definitely see a 17 happening at some point with both strategies, to be honest. and it'll be really fun to see the progress that's coming in the future on this track. And fun fact, this is Joshua's first world record actually as well. Definitely quite the time to get his very first world record on for sure with this awesome new strategy. Congrats on your improvement, Joshua. Now the next world record that will be reviewed this month might be a little bit confusing to you all, and I'll explain. In previous months, you may have seen faster times than this current new time on Peach Gardens being documented in the past couple of months. In those runs that were covered, Brett was actually using a pausing strategy to get a little what's called an automatic hop. You can't normally hop with automatic, but if you change directions very quickly from complete right to complete left or vice versa, you can get a little hop, which was he was utilizing over the flower bed after the hedge maze on all 3 laps. Now, a discussion about pausing mid-run through time trials in this game was actually talked about several years ago back on the Players Page forum in 2016, and a lot of the opinions and feelings are quite divided. But overall, from what I can gather, Brett himself recently actually brought it upon himself to say that he did not want his times to be counted using the pause assist. And now the new rule states that players are not allowed to use the pause home button to gain a driving related advantage in their times. The entire discussion thread, the entire rule set, and also a video that was uploaded to CTGP Records explaining everything will all be linked in the description below. So with all that out of the way to clear all the confusion, Brett managed to drive a 159.217 on February 21st. And as you can see in this run, on all 3 laps, he does not go for the little automatic hop over the flower bed on all 3 laps after the hedge maze. And even without using that strategy on all 3 laps, Brett was still extremely close to hitting that chain chomp on lap 3. And I think that's going to remain as the biggest roadblock between someone hitting a 158 at some point on this track, with the automatic strategy anyway. Good luck and further improvements. The last record to be reviewed this month will be on Koopa Cape. For those of you who don't know who the player Jorge is, his previous alias used to be Mario back in the day. And in his day, he set many world records back in the day. And both Jorge and myself were very close rivals, battling for #1 overall for a little bit over a year and a half if my memory serves me right. And back in 2012, when Cole's anti-cheating detection, mostly detecting rapid fire and ghosts, were released, it was found that Jorge was cheating his runs. Long story short, Jorge recently came back about a month ago, I think, and he had a big apology thread on the players page, and he also delved into the nature of the cheating that he was doing with his times back in the day. I'll link that in the description below if you guys want to give it a read. Currently as it stands, Jorge's times will be counted on the charts only if they are set on CTGP, as it has the anti-cheating detection within CTGP itself when you upload to the leaderboards. Koopa Cape was always one of his better tracks back in the day, so it's no surprise to me that this was his first track he gave a big stab at. And he was set a run of 2:18.258 on February 22nd, beating the previous world record holder American player Justin by a little bit over 0.1. The biggest thing I can tell that Jorge is doing a little bit differently compared to other players currently is how he's going about the shroomless cut. It might be more consistent for him, I'm not really too sure, but it looks like he's losing a bit of time, especially when throwing up the comparison against him and Justin for an example on the shroomless cut. Overall, a 2:17 is definitely on the horizon on this track, with many players that are certainly capable, including Jorge himself. Good luck, Jorge, on your future improvements. And with that, we conclude all of the world records reviewed in February 2019. Another month with plenty of activity across 6 unique tracks, 11 records in total. This brings the tally of world records in 2019 up to 28, 17 in January and 11 in February. And as always, I thank you all so much for watching. This series has been very fun to be doing progressively with each month, and I'm happy to see the enjoyment that also brings all of you who are watching these monthly videos as well. There will be a lot more time trial content coming in 2019 to my channel, so if you want to see more content like this and to support the creation of my work, please do give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you all in the next video reviewing March 2019's world records.